This extract is Dr. Rob Bajan in conversation with one of his patients, who happens to be a judge, Judge Felix Denning. Felix says, "Do you know what astroturfing is, Rob?" The stuffy full definition is that it's a deceptive practice of presenting an orchestrated campaign in the guise of unsolicited comments from members of the public. Sponsors of a message are skillfully masked to make it appear as though it originates from and is supported by the grassroots. The message can be political, advertising, religious, or public relations. They create an impression of widespread public support for something when little support actually exists. Fake pressure groups are used. Front organisations pretending to be independent experts promote their lies. It works. They get airtime. There was a classic front organisation set up to sabotage the NHS. Have you heard of the Fellowship for Freedom in Medicine, Rob? Got going as soon as the NHS did in 1948. It was secretly backed by the international insurance industry and fronted by doctors, most notably Lord Hawder, who made his name getting a tricky diagnosis right on Edward VII. Michael Foot put it perfectly in his biography of Knight Bevin when he described Lord Hawder as a growling, ostentatious objector to almost any national health service in any form whatsoever. They called it totalitarian socialism. So it wasn't a surprise that he was also the president of the British Eugenics Society. After Hawder's death in 1955, the Freedom for Fellowship in Medicine was chaired by GP Reginald Hall White, who was advisor to several private health insurance companies. He moved it close to the Institute of Economic Affairs. The Americans watched this very closely. They kept going until the 1970s. Even way back then, the right had kidnapped the word freedom when they actually are aiming for quite the opposite. Then there's the Overton window. The window of discourse, which amounts to the range of ideas the public will accept. But of course, those in control dictate what is acceptable and what isn't. It actually is quite a narrow range of ideas. Make sure anything slightly away from what the establishment is thinking is ridiculed as mad. Hence, label even the most harmless and sensible policies, such as having a state-run public transport system, as coming from the Looney left.